Say it. Say it. Say it. Go. Again. Read it. Read it. Read it. Very good.
Bulabinaka and Namaste. Welcome to the Jolly Phonics National Training. Special welcome to all the primary teachers, parents and anyone who is looking for strategies to help a child read and write independently. You must have waited for a long time looking for ways to make your students or children read, but now the wait is over. With Jolly Phonics, a synthetic phonics approach, your little angels can read and write unseen words in just 8 to 9 weeks. In this presentation, you will find instructions and training materials on the following. Methods of teaching in the past in the UK, the USA and other English-speaking countries. What is synthetic phonics? What is analytic phonics? Why children can't read? What is the Jolly Phonics program? The 5 skills in Jolly Phonics. What are decodable readers? How to improve a child's comprehension skills? Lesson plan. Pace of teaching letter sounds and the timetable. Reading assessment. Remedial. What is dyslexia? Children with speech and language problems. Teaching resources and Jolly Phonics products. Conclusion. The method of teaching in the past in UK, USA and other English-speaking countries was whole word methods. Whole word methods can be divided into 2 parts. Look and say type and whole language type. Look and say type teaches individual words explicitly, for example by using flashcards or reading schemes based on the repetition of high-frequency words. On the other hand, whole language type expects children to identify printed words by using cues from context and pictures. In 1960s, look and say was a very popular method, probably based partly on the fact that it seemed to enable children to make good initial progress and partly on the fact that English has a very complicated spelling system which was thought to make phonics methods less appropriate than for other languages. In 1970s, whole language advocates believe not only that phonics is unreliable but also that look and say is far too restricting. They argue that instead of sounding words out or memorizing them as wholes, children should be encouraged to guess at them from pictures and context. In fact, Kenneth Goodman has called reading a psycholinguistic guessing game. In 1980s, throughout the English-speaking world, theories about the teaching of reading were dominated by the influence of whole language, and phonics was regarded as playing at best a very minor role. The 1990s. In England, perhaps more than in other English-speaking countries, there was some official concern about reading standards by 1990. The 1989 report by Gorman has been mentioned above. Another contributory factor was some evidence released in 1990 by a group of educational psychologists led by Martin Tanner. This evidence charted a decline in reading standards among hundreds of thousands of children in several local education authorities from 1985 onwards. Tanner put this down to the growing influence of the real books movement, the teaching of reading from 2000 onwards. In the USA, concern about literacy standards led to the publication in 2000 of the report of the National Reading Panel. This concluded that teaching approaches which emphasized phonics were more effective than those which did not. A House of Commons Education and Skills Committee inquiry into the teaching of reading ran from November 2004 to February 2005. As the series of hearings was coming to an end, the 7-year Clackmann-Shire follow-up report was published, showing remarkable reading and spelling results for children who had been taught synthetic phonics in the first year of school and were now reaching the end of primary school. Jim Rose was then asked to carry out a review of the teaching of early reading. His interim report, published in December 2005, in effect rejected the whole language-based searchlights approach by pointing out that it could be daunting and confusing for beginners to be taught by methods which assume that all the strategies of skill reading need to be covered from child's first steps of learning to read. An Australian report published in the same month was also critical of the whole language. Thus, England became the first English-speaking country in modern times in which there was clear government backing for teaching based on simple view of reading, where phonics is the prime means of identifying written words rather than on look and say and other whole language approaches. Now, in the UK, the USA, Australia and other major English-speaking countries of the world, synthetic phonics is used as a major reading strategy. What is synthetic phonics? Synthetic phonics is an ideal method of teaching young children and children of non-English speaking origin to become independent readers and writers. Synthetic phonics approach is very different from the old analytic phonics method. While the analytic phonics method involved the whole language approach or the look and say method, mostly using the flashcards, pictures or child's memory to remember words and read them, the synthetic phonics approach teaches the children how the English alphabetic code works and how to use it to identify the alphabet sounds in a word to pronounce any word. The three important aspects of synthetic phonics are: number 1, teach the alphabetic codes, that is the letter sounds. Number 2, use blending to read words rather than trying to memorize the words by their shape. Number 3, avoid asking the children to read or write a word containing a letter sound that has not yet been taught. Synthetic phonics does not start with whole printed words. It starts with single letters and the sounds that the letters represent. As soon as the children have been taught a few letters and sounds, including 1 or 2 vowels, they are taught to look into the words, produce a sound for each letter. No digraph should be included at this point, and then blend the sounds all through the word into normal pronunciation. This synthesizing or blending sounds is the essential skill for working out unknown words. Increasing numbers of words can and should be blended as each letter sound is introduced. See sample of word bank. Once words have been blended a few times, they can be read without blending as if they were a sight word. At the same time, the children are taught how to write letters and how to identify the individual sounds in words. For example, if children have been taught how to form single letters and can hear that the word dig has the sounds d, I, g in it, then they can write this word. In addition to teaching the sounds made by single letters, synthetic phonics programs also teach the sounds made by digraphs such as I, E, O, and ow. Although learning the sounds made by digraphs is slightly more difficult than learning the sounds made by single letters, the children just need to learn to say one sound for the 2 letters. Care is taken to ensure that the new letter knowledge is put into practice straight away with plenty of blending and segmenting of regular words that use the new digraphs. Important points to remember when teaching with synthetic phonics. Usually, synthetic phonics programs teach 40 plus letter sound correspondences initially, that is, they teach one way of representing each of the main sounds of English. Later on, alternative ways of writing the sounds are covered. For example, the sound A may be introduced first as I, and then the alternatives AY and A-E at a later stage. Frequently used tricky words are taught systematically by blending them, learning the correct pronunciation and identifying the tricky bit. A fast pace of introducing the letter sound is recommended in synthetic phonics, with several programs introducing 4 to 5 letter sounds a week. The fast pace is stimulating for the children and enables them to quickly get to the stage when they have enough foundation knowledge to start reading books. What is analytic phonics? Analytic phonics approaches phonics in an incidental way rather than with direct systematic teaching. The teaching tends to run in parallel with reading books, which are introduced using a look and say approach. The children are expected to memorize whole words, which are first shown to them and read out to them. The whole words can be shown to the children on flashcards or on labeled objects around the classroom. The teacher might also point to words during big book story time. Typically, the teaching concentrates on one initial letter sound a week. The children might be shown a series of illustrated alliterative words which start with the sound being taught, such as buzz, bed, bike, book and bird. After that, the children are introduced to the final sounds as in lip, tap, hop, and then the middle sounds as in bag, hat, pen. The eventual aim of this teaching is to provide the children with the necessary phonics knowledge for decoding unknown words. However, introducing phonics knowledge in this very gradual way means that many children fail to master the alphabetic code and struggle with reading. The slow pace also means that vowel and consonant digraphs are often not taught until the third year, if at all. In some parts of the world, only the sounds of the alphabet letters are taught, and the vowel digraphs are thought of as being too complicated for children. Therefore, in order to read books, the children have to rely on the memory and the incidental phonics that has been taught. Typically, in the past, more systematic phonic teaching was given to the remedial children when they were 7 or 8 years old. Analytic phonics reading books. The books that the children are expected to read are either non-structured reading books, graded reading books that introduce new words gradually, or book-bound books that initially use repeated sentences which include a new word on each page. The children can then deduce the new words by looking at the picture. The following is an example of a typical book-bound book. The illustrations in these books are usually very humorous, ostensibly to make up for the repetitive story. Many children will simply memorize these books and use the pictures as a reminder. The easiest way to find whether a child is reading a book or merely reciting it is to print out some of the words that appear in the book and ask the child to read them, this time without the accompanying pictures. Very often, the child will not be able to do this. This indicates that the child was guessing the words and not actually reading them. Analytic phonics-based teaching is sometimes known as mixed methods teaching. The mixed methods include balanced literacy, the apprenticeship approach and whole language approaches. The main thing that all these approaches have in common is that they teach phonics incidentally and start with whole words and reading books. Why children can't read? When children do not learn to read, the reason for their lack of success can almost always be attributed to that method of teaching used. By starting with whole word memorizing and not with the alphabetic code, the children who have poor visual memories feel that reading is hard and that they cannot do it. Even with a little phonic knowledge, for example, knowing only the alphabet sounds, they stumble along guessing and hoping that they have said the right words. Good readers use their code knowledge, including knowledge of the digraphs, for reading. Good readers do not look at the picture or the initial letter, neither do they guess from the context for word identification, but poor readers do, and it lets them down all the time. Any method of teaching that starts with whole words, uses incidental phonics and expects children to read books that are not decodable is an inefficient method of teaching for all children, especially those children with poor visual memories and or children having difficulties hearing the sounds in words. Why is it so difficult to teach reading and writing in English? English has a very complicated alphabetic code. This is due to the following reasons. Number 1, the influence of other languages. For example, the digraph CH has 3 sounds in English, The ch sound as in church, chops, rich, and the k sound as in Christmas, chemist, architect, Greek influence, and the sh sound as in champagne, chef, machine, French influence. Number 2. The first English dictionary was printed a long time ago. Since then, the spelling of English words has remained much the same, even though the pronunciation of many of these words has changed over the years, causing the unpredictability of English spellings. Number 3. Digraphs cause added complexity. The English language has more sounds, phonemes, than there are letters to represent those sounds. The accepted number of sounds in English is 44, and yet there are only 26 letters. This means that some sounds have to be represented by 2 letters, which are called digraphs, such as A in rain, ow in loud, sh in ship, etc. Sometimes more than 2 letters are used to represent one sound. For example, the I in night or the A in 8. Number 4. There can be many ways of representing a single sound. For example, look at the following 9 alternative ways of representing a long A sound. Even this long list is not comprehensive. There are more spellings of the long A, but fortunately, these are very rare. A as in rain, frail, daily. A as in say, play, crayon. A as in date, name, lemonade. A as in apron, angel, change. A as in faint, vain, veil. A as in they, grey, obey. A as in 8, nay, slay. A as in ballet, sobe, buffet. A as in great, break, stake. Consequently, the alphabetic code needs to be introduced very carefully. Although the complicated English alphabetic code has many spellings for each of the sounds, it is much more regular than many people think. It just needs to be taught with great care. Teachers should progress from the simplest to the more complex skills, ensuring that all children master enough of the code to enable them to read and write fluently by the time they are about 8 years old. What is the Jolly Phonics program? Jolly Phonics is a synthetic phonics program. It teaches the children in a simple and multi-sensory way how the English reading and writing system works. That is to say, it teaches children to use the basic alphabetic code, that's the letter sound knowledge, to work out unknown words before expecting them to read books for themselves or to write independently. Jolly Phonics starts by introducing the simplest skills and progresses steadily to more complex ones. With all good synthetic phonics programs, children are encouraged to apply their phonic knowledge to their reading and writing as soon as possible. In other words, children should start reading, that's blending, and writing, which is segmenting words that use letter sounds that they know as soon as those sounds have been taught. As each new letter sound is introduced, more regular words become available for reading and writing practice. The Jolly Phonics program is fun, interactive, and particularly suitable for young children. Teachers following this method of teaching can be assured that their children will learn to read and write independently much more quicker than usual. The 5 skills in Jolly Phonics. Number 1, learning the letter sounds. Number 2, learning letter formation. Number 3, blending. Number 4, identifying sounds in words. And number 5, tricky words. In this presentation, each point is dealt with separately. However, in the classroom, they are taught at the same time. Skill number 1, learning the letter sounds. The first skill is learning the letter sounds. The main aim is for children to be fluent at saying the sounds represented by each letter or letter combination in order to be able to read. When teaching the letter sounds, teachers please ensure that you do not teach the students S, A, T, I, P, N, etc. Remember, you are to teach the students the letter sounds which are S, A, T, I, P, N. In Jolly Phonics, there are 7 groups of sounds. The order in which the sounds are taught has been grouped from the simplest to the more complex sounds and letters. The first group of letters were chosen because you can make more simple 3-letter words than with any other combination of 6 letters. This enables the children to start blending and reading words right from the start. This is hugely motivating for the children. The letter sounds are taught first and the letter names are taught later. That is after the first 5 groups of letter sounds have been taught. The most effective way to introduce the letter names is by teaching the children to sing or recite the alphabet. In the early stages, Jolly Phonics lessons focus upon teaching the children to recognize the lowercase letters and the letter sound correspondences. However, in order to be able to read storybooks, the children must also learn to recognize the capital letters. The letter C is introduced early on. The formation of this letter comes before the letters D, O, G and Q, which helps the children to form them correctly. The letters B and D are introduced in different groups to avoid confusion. The digraphs where 2 letters make one sound are introduced in the 4th group of letter sounds.
S, s, snake. A, ant. T, t, tennis. I, ink. P, puff. N, net. K, cat. E, egg. Hop. Rag. Meal. D, drum. G, gurgle. O, on. Umbrella. Lollipop. Fish. B, bat. A, pain. J, jam. O, goat. I, tie. E, B, or, fork. Z, buzz. W, wind. Strong. Van. Book. Ooh, oo, moon. Yogurt. X, fox. Chicken. Sh, hush. This. Three. Quack. Ow, ouch. Oi, oil. You, cue. Mixer. R, arm.
Storylines and actions. Each letter sound is introduced with a story. In the story, the children hear the sound and see the action. For example, the teacher needs to demonstrate with the S story, sound and action. The action helps the children to remember the letter sounds. The S page illustration in the Finger Phonics Book 1 and the S picture on the Jolly Phonics wall phrase remind the children of the letter sound. Jolly songs provide added stimulation and helps remember actions. Using Jolly songs and actions could be more fun for younger children.
The snake is in the grass, the snake is in the grass. The snake is in the grass. Ants on my arm, ants on my arm, ants on my arm, they're causing me alarm. When I watch the tennis game, when I watch the tennis game, my head goes back and forth. Puff out the candles on the pink, pink cake. Puff, 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 puff. Puff out the candles on the pink, pink cake. Puff, puff, puff. Inky the mouse is my pet. She spilled the ink and got wet. The ink is spread all over the desk. Inky's wet. Hear the aeroplane, hear the aeroplane, hear the aeroplane, making lots of noise. The mom and the dad make many meals. The mom and the dad make many meals for their hungry children. See me play on my drum. Playing drums is lots of fun with a da 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 da. See me play upon my drum. The water gurgles down the drain. The water gurgles down the drain. The water gurgles down the drain with a gurg 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 gurg. Now it's dark, the lights go on. Oh, 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 oh. Time for bed, the lights go off. Oh, 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 oh. clicking castanets. We are clicking castanets. We are clicking castanets. Clicking castanets. We are clicking castanets. Kites are flying in the sky. Kites are flying in the sky. Kites are flying in the sky. Flying in the sky. Kites are flying in the sky. Eggs in the pan, eh, eh, eh. Eggs in the pan, eh, eh, eh. Eggs in the pan, eh, eh, eh. Crack the egg like this, eh. Up go umbrellas, up go umbrellas, up go umbrellas when it starts to rain. See my puppy rip the rag, See my puppy rip the rag when he pulls so hard. I like to hop, 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 up and down. I like to hop, 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 all around. I like to hop, 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 up and down. Bring your bat and bring your ball, Bring your bat and bring your ball to the park to play. My friends and I went to the beach with my floating fish. It got a hole, the air came out. We lick our lollipops, we lick our lollipops. Oh, 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 we lick our lollipops. Jelly and jam, jiggling on the plate. Oh, what will I eat with it? Ja, 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 ja. Drive big spam round the village. Drive big spam round the village. Drive big spam round the village. Ooh. I see the clouds moving. Wah, wah, wah. I see the kites flying. Wah, wah, wah. I see the trees bending. Wah, wah, wah. The wind is blowing strong. Take an X-ray, take an X-ray, take an X-ray, X-ray of my hand. I like to eat yogurt and bananas. I like to eat yogurt and bananas. I like to eat yogurt and bananas. Yeah, 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 yeah. Did you ever hear a bee buzz, a bee buzz, a bee buzz? Did you ever hear a bee buzz? Zzz, like this. The duck in the pond quacks, quack, 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 quack. The duck in the pond quacks, quack, 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 all around the pond. Trains are chugging up the hill. Trains are chugging up the hill. Choo choo. Did you ever hear a rude clown make this sound and that sound? Did you ever hear a rude clown say the? If you're strong and you know it, say If you're strong and you know it, say If you're strong and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're strong and you know it, say My ear hurt, I was in pain, My ear hurt, I was in pain. What did you try to say? See the donkey in its stall, E-O, is its call. The captain said aye, aye. The captain said aye, aye. Stand up straight, don't be late. The captain said aye, aye. Oh, did you see the billy goat? Oh, 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 oh. Did you see the billy goat under the old oak tree? Who wants to be a cuckoo? Who wants to be a cuckoo? Who wants to be a cuckoo? Ooh, 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 ooh. Open wide, the doctor said, oh, oh. Let me look at your sore throat, please say, oh. The mixer in the bowl goes, The mixer in the bowl goes, mixing the food together. I pricked my thumb with a needle, ow, 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 ow. I pricked my thumb with a needle, ow, ow, ouch. The sailors met upon the sea, oi, 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 oi. They found some oil way down deep, oi, oi, ship ahoy. I'd like to have a barbecue, you. I'd like to have a barbecue with you and you and you.
Story, action, song and action, and then letter formation is the best way of introducing each letter sound to the children. Young children learn particularly quickly when there is activity involved. By doing an action for each letter sound, the children are using body movement, ears, eyes, and speech to help them remember that sound. This multisensory approach is very effective way of teaching as well as being exciting for the children.
Okay, let's look up here. Kedua, remike. Again. Again. Borang ane. Namun dorong nasi ni kuat. Tak boleh dah cuma ni kuat. Dorong. Again. Okay. Say the sound and do the action.
Okay, let's try example. Blended, go. Again. Okay, action the spelling to me. Right? And then, what is the word? What is the word? Very good here too.
Digraphs are two or more letters that make one sound. Digraphs are an important part of the teaching in Jolly Phonics. The English language consists of 44 sounds, but there are only 26 letters to represent them. Therefore, some sounds are written with more than one letter, for example, SH, CH, TH, II, ER, OR, OI, OU, IGH, NG, etc. There are 44 letter sounds in English. Jolly Phonics covers 42 of them. The other two are the sound made by the letters SI in word television, not many of them. The schwa, swallowed sound in the, lemon, around, etc. In Jolly Phonics, the digraphs TH and O are initially written in two sizes because they each have two sounds. The voiced v, as in this, that, there, with, etc. The children like to feel their throat vibrating when they say this sound. Unvoiced as in thin, thick, thistle, three, etc. There is no vibration when this sound is said. The short O sound as in cook, book, foot, look, etc. The long oo sound as in moon, shoot, balloon, choose, etc. These differences are important in speaking even though the letters are the same in writing. Alternative vowel sounds introduced as alternatives taught later. A as in rain, A as in play, A as in flame. E as in feet, E as in leaf. O as in boat, O as in snow, and O as in bone. Initially, one way of reading all the letter sounds is taught. For example, A as in rain. Once the children are used to blending words with this digraph, they are taught that there are alternative ways of spelling some sounds. For example, the alternatives for A are A as in play and A as in flame. It is important for the children to have practice reading regular words with all of these sounds in them. In the Jolly Phonics word book, similar to the word bank, there is a page of words for the initial spelling of each letter sound and then a page of words for each alternative spellings of that sound. Parents would find it useful to have this book list as it helps them to understand how the code of English works and provides them with examples of words for the children to blend and or write.
Gum, bump, first, step, left, mud, bit, tag, left, half, puff, front, back, lit, slip, slim, dance, left, sand, drop, flat, bag, drum, tip, pill, grab, hill, jet, jump, jet, jump, dig, zigzag, win, web, swim, verse, wig, job, jug, jazz, zap, buzz, wind, wag, well, west, swell.
Teachers can photocopy the words and large if preferred, stick them on card and cut them up for the children to have practice blending the words. This is particularly useful for children needing extra individual blending practice. Alternatively, a comprehensive list of alternative spellings is provided in this package for teachers and parents. The next skill is letter formation. The main aim is for the children to form the letters correctly and develop neat handwriting. Before children learn to form the letters, they need to feel the letters. This can be done using the finger phonics book, or feeling the letters on the board which the teacher has written, or just writing in the air and feel the letters. To begin to understand how letters are formed, the children can take in turns to feel the formation of the letters in the finger phonics book by following the arrows in the grooved letters with their finger.
Hey. Here, okay. Ito na dot. Ikurin na dot sa sila. Hey, yan, nabanona dapat. Tika po may kya. Okay, ayo ko ida kana linga mo. O may kana tikwira, ayo ko ida ke. Hey.
Nakusong.
Tika mo bata.
Nakusong.
Feeling the formation of the letter in the air prepares the children for forming it correctly when they write it with a pencil. They watch the teacher forming the letter in the air and follow their example with the finger or hand. Teachers have to be careful to form the letter in mirror image if facing the children. Know the handwriting rules. No letter starts on the line. Most letters start with the downstroke first. I, D, O, G and Q all starts with the caterpillar C. E and Z start by going towards the end of the line. B, D, F, H, K, L and T are tall letters. The hand or pencil goes higher when forming them. G, J, P, Q, Y and F are letters with tails, and the hand or the pencil goes lower when forming them. All letters should be close together without bumping, and spaces should be left between words. In letter formation, pencil hold is very important. In order to form letters correctly, it is very important to hold the pencil correctly. When learning to hold a pencil, the children should use the tripod grip, hold between thumb and first finger while the pencil rests on the middle finger. The movement of the pencil comes from the thumb and first finger. Ensure that the knuckles go out so that they look like froggy legs. The position is the same for left-handed children. So therefore, you can see for correct pencil hold, you must ensure you have the tripod grip and froggy legs movement when writing. The sound sheets provided in the phonics handbook or the pupils book provide excellent writing practice. Trace over dotted letters. Children should start on the bold dot and form the letter by joining up the remaining dots. It is important to watch out for correct formation and accuracy with hitting all the dots. This example comes from the phonics handbook. Pencil stroke direction. All the correct pencil strokes are given. Ideally, each child should be watched to check that correct formation is used. Letters with joining tails. The session infant font has been chosen because its letters have joining tails. Learning this formation from the beginning makes it easier for the children to join the letters when the school introduces joined-up cursive writing. Letters without joining tails are available in North America. These products are marked as being in print letters. Joint handwriting helps children to develop greater fluency in their writing. It also encourages better spelling as the children feel how the letters go together by writing them in one continuous movement. This reminds them to put the letters in the correct order. In class, to consolidate their understanding of the first 6 sounds, the children can watch the first section of the Jolly Phonics DVD. Other items such as the Jolly Phonics word phrase and Jolly jingles can also be used to consolidate what's being learned. The third skill is blending. The main aim is for the children to blend letter sounds fluently to work out unknown words. The faster the children are at blending, the easier it is for them to read. The phonic skill for this is to look at the letters, say the sound and hear the word. Initially, the children blend words by calling out the sounds aloud, but gradually they should be encouraged to blend silently in their head. This promotes fluency for reading. Why might some children find blending difficult? Number 1, they do not know the letter sounds well enough. As soon as they see a letter or a digraph, the sound should come automatically to them. If they have to pause to think, they lose track of the word. To correct this, it is necessary to revise the sounds regularly with flashcards, actions, and letter games. Number 2, the wrong sounds are being emphasized. The emphasis should be on the first letter sound. For example, on the D of D, O, G. If the children put the emphasis on the last sounds, they may try to start the word with those sounds and fail to hear the word. For example, instead of saying dog, the children might end up saying gog or god. Sounding out letters. The first stage in learning to blend is for the children to be able to hear the word after the teacher has said the sounds in it. A teacher may say, for example, can you see the s, a, n, or where is the b, oi? Parents can also do this with their children at home. The children who can immediately hear the words son and boy and point to them in the picture have a good ear for sounds and will have no problems with learning to blend sounds by themselves. With practice, all children become successful. However, it does take longer for some, and these children find learning to read more difficult. In the beginning, a little practice is needed most days. As soon as possible, the children should start blending words by themselves or as a class. The words should be regular and they should use only the letter sounds that have been taught. There are several activities for blending practice in the phonics handbooks and the Jolly Phonics workbooks.
Bell, drum, dick, bill, crab, hill, ham, jam, cat, jump, zip, zigzag, wheel, web, swim, bunt, wicket, chop, jug, zag, Cherry, rapper, bug, wind, web, west.
Very good. How about this one? Sound. Again. How about this one? Go. Again. How about this one? Go. 2, 3. Again. How about this one? Go. No. Go. Again. Sound from Malua. Again. Go. Come on, children. Again. Go. Wow. Kabanyaman tanggo. Yawan go. Again. Again. Okay, let's try and join the sound. Open your mouth from here and close it to M. Very good. Try ruator. One more time. Very good. Let's try with the next one. One more time. Okay, let's try the third one. Come on, children. Smart, come on, another one. Okay, how many sounds can you see in here? How many? What is the first sound? What is the second sound? What is the third sound? Okay, read it this time, go. Very good, another one. Harder this time. Faster. Very good. Let's try with these two sounds. How many sounds can you see? Two. What are they? What is the first sound? And the second one? Very good. Let's try and blend it together. Blend. Roto. Again. Faster. Faster.
Blending comes easily to most children. However, some children find it difficult. A technique that helps all children is to say the first sound of a word slightly louder and the others quickly afterwards. Example, d, a, k. Examples of regular words can be found in the Jolly Phonics word book. Plenty of practice is also needed through the worksheets. Blending activities, pointing to letters one by one, miming words, word boxes, read and see books. The most effective method of blending is when the child is able to blend a word in their head without saying the individual sounds out loud. Here's an activity you can do with the children. Write the letters of a word randomly on the board. The teacher points to the letters that make a word. The children have to try and put the sounds together in their head and say the word. This can be done as a group or individually, and it can also be practiced at home. Once the actions for the first 3 groups of letter sounds have been introduced, the action for each sound in a word like t, e, n can be mimed by the teacher. The children have to watch the actions and say the word. Once a child knows the letter sounds and can read simple regular words by blending the sounds, then they are ready to go through the word boxes 1 to 18 in the phonics handbook. The word boxes start with simple words made from the first group of letter sounds and finish with more complicated words made from the last group of letter sounds. Each box of words can be mounted on card and or laminated, cut up and sent home for extra practice. Once the child can blend all the words in a box, they are given the next one. The majority receive a new box each day. The word boxes provide a stepping stone between learning the individual letter sounds and reading storybooks. The Jolly Phonics read and see books are also ideal. They contain pages with a simple, regular word on one side and hiding under a flap on the other side is a picture of that word.
Let's try whether you can blend this. 2, 3. Blend. What is it? Blend. What do you call this picture? Blend. Very good.
With Jolly Phonics, the children are not expected to read storybooks themselves until they have been given the main blending skills and have learned some irregular common keywords, also known as tricky words. It is a good idea to explain this to parents at an early Parents' Day. Words with consonant blends. It is easier for the children to blend words if they say the consonant blend in one go. For example, pl, n, and not p, l, n. If there are two letters with the same sound next to each other in a word, the children must learn that the sound is only said once. For example, s, I, k, and not s, I, k, k. The fourth skill is identifying sounds in words. The main aim is for the children to be able to hear all the parts of a word so that when it comes to spelling it, they are able to recall the parts correctly. Hearing individual sounds. Children can hear one sound and children need to hear all the sounds in a word. Look at the S page in the Finger Phonics Big Book 1 and identify the words that have a S sound in them. Ask the children, is there a S sound in sun? Is there a S sound in dog, etc.? Initially, most children find it difficult to distinguish individual sounds and give the wrong answer. Gradually, they start to hear them. The children who are the last to acquire this skill are generally the children who have the greatest problems with learning to read and write. After the first set of letter sounds have been taught, the children learn to identify all the sounds in simple words. The teacher calls out a word, for example, pet, and the children say, holding up a finger for each sound.
Okay, how many sounds can you see in here? How many? 3. What is the first sound? 2. What is the second sound? 3. What is the third sound? Okay, read it this time. Go. Very good. Another one. Harder this time. Faster. Very good. Let's try with these two sounds. How many sounds can you see? 2. What are they? What is the first sound? And the second one? Very good. Let's try and blend it together. Blend. Rotor. Again. Faster. Faster. Okay, let's try and give you this. Let's see whether you can read it or not. Okay, they have finished with the first set. Let's try whether you can blend this. 2, 3. What is it? What do you call this picture? Very good. Sound and clap bad. Go. Do it one more time. Action it. Right. Right. Action again one more time, Ureda. Right. Right. Very good. You spell out the word properly. Now let's look at the second word. How many sounds? 3. What is the first sound? What is the second sound? And the third sound? Let's try and blend it quickly. 2, 3. Again. Okay. Clap the sound. 2, 3. Clap it. Action the sound. Very good, class 2.
Games and activities for identifying sounds. I spy, counting sounds, word families, rhyming words, take away a sound, chopping game. In the Phonics Handbook, there are numerous games and activities that can be used to help develop this skill of identifying sounds in words. For example, I spy with my little eye something, beginning with S, beginning with sn. When children play I spy, it makes them more aware of the sounds in words.
Okay, how many sounds can you see in here? 3. How many? 3. What is the first sound? 2. What is the second sound? 3. What is the third sound? Okay, read it this time. Go. Very good. Another one. Harder this time. Faster.
Counting sounds in 3-letter consonant, vowel, consonant or CVC words. Call out 3-letter sound words. Ask the children to say each sound in the word, holding up one finger for each sound. A little practice every day makes it easier for most children to identify the sounds.
Right. Right. Action again one more time, Urida. Right. Right. Very good. You spell out the word properly. Now let's look at the second word. How many sounds? 3. What is the first sound? What is the second sound? And the third sound? Let's try and blend it quickly. 2, 3. Again. Okay. Clap the sound. 2, 3. Clap it. Action the sound.
Other activities include the use of word families, rhyming words, substituting letters, etc. Dictation. Another way of practicing this skill, hearing individual sounds, is through dictation. Initially, dictate letter sounds. Watch for correct formation as the children write the letters. When children can hear the sounds in 3-letter words such as pat, bed, tug, knot and fit, they are ready to write 3-letter words from dictation. Homework writing books, preferably with lines, are also helpful. Photocopy a page of words from the homework writing sheets in the Phonics Handbook and write the child's name on the sheet. Cut off a section of words from the child's sheet and put it into the homework writing book. Ask the parents to dictate the words without their child seeing them. The children bring the homework writing book back to school for the teacher to mark. If most of the words are correct, then the teacher adds the next section to be sent home that night. Skill number 5. Learning tricky words. Tricky words are generally irregular keywords that do not give the correct pronunciation when blended. The children have to learn these by heart. The teaching in the Phonics Handbook aims to help children learn to read and spell tricky words. The tricky words are in a set order and are numbered so that they can be taught in a structured way. Introducing the tricky words. The introduction of the tricky words should ideally start when the 6th group of letter sounds is being taught. The tricky words can then be taught at a pace of 3 new tricky words a week, although more can be taught if they share a similar spelling pattern. Examples being he, she, me, we, and be. Learning tricky words. Children should learn to read the tricky words before learning how to spell them. Some children will blend the sounds and say the word incorrectly. This seems to jog their memory and they then say the word correctly. Eventually, they learn to recognize the word immediately. Look, cover, write and check. This technique is used mainly for spelling irregular tricky words. As with reading, it is important that the children look at the tricky word and work out which part of it is irregular. For example, in the word you, it is only the OU that is irregular. The spelling of a word becomes familiar when the way it is written is studied. Instead of always identifying the sounds in tricky words, the children should recite the names of the letters several times. They can also form each letter in the air as they say its name. The children copy the tricky words, cover it up, write it on their own, and then check to see if they have spelled it correctly. It is good to encourage the children to say the letter names as they write the letters. The children must learn never simply to copy words, as this is a very ineffective way of learning to spell. Say it as it sounds. Most children find it difficult to remember irregular spellings. 20% of children find it extremely hard as they have a poor memory. These children benefit particularly from these different techniques. Say it as it sounds means pronouncing each word in a way that will remind the child of its irregular part. Example, Monday instead of Monday. Mnemonics are a fun way to remind children of the spelling of words that they find particularly difficult to remember. Some examples are laugh, laugh at ugly goat's hair. People, people eat omelets, people like eggs. Therefore, with Jolly Phonics, at the end of the first 9 weeks, the majority of the children can read and write 42 letter sounds, form letters correctly with tripped grip, blend regular words, example leg, flag, shoot, write simple words by listening for sounds, and read and spell some of the tricky words. Independent writing. Here is a piece of independent writing. The child has learnt the 42 letter sounds, knows how to listen for the sounds in words and can write the letters of those sounds. You will notice that the word I has been spelled correctly. It is the first tricky word or irregular word to be taught and the child has learnt it by heart. However, the spelling of the tricky word was has not been taught. The child has sounded out the word and written wa o s. Although the spelling is incorrect, the child's work can be read. The words went, that, and fun have been sounded out and written correctly by the child. The child must listen carefully to hear the ng at the end of riding, the silent e at the end of horse, and the spelling of the long I sound in riding will be taught later. You may find that the child's writing is further ahead than their reading. Here is an example of a boy's writing from the United States. Ian is 5 years, in the first 18 weeks of school, a typical student in the class. The word we has been spelled correctly. It is one of the first tricky words or irregular words to be taught and the child has learnt it by heart. However, the spelling of the tricky word some has not been taught. Ian has sounded out the word and written Although the spelling is incorrect, the child's work can be read. The words out and sleep have been sounded out and written correctly by the child. There are some areas Ian needs to work on. You notice he spells they as they. This is logical for Ian as he has learned the sound A as in rain, but not yet the alternative spelling of that vowel sound. This will come later. Accurate spelling is important. As the children get older, they must learn to spell all the tricky words and alternative ways of writing the vowel sounds correctly. This can be taught through a spelling scheme like Jolly Grammar, which follows Jolly Phonics and is suitable for children in the second and third school years. However, being able to write all by themselves at this stage gives children enormous confidence and pleasure as they are able to say exactly what they think. What are decodable readers? These are carefully selected storybooks provided which have the letter sounds that have been taught to children together with some tricky words. At different stages of learning the letter sounds and tricky words, different level of the decodable readers are introduced. Generally, reading books are provided when the children can blend unknown words that use the 40+ letter sounds and have learnt some tricky words. The Jolly readers are interesting storybooks designed for children who are just ready to read. They will have learned the initial 42 letter sounds in Jolly Phonics and be able to blend these sounds to read simple words, including words not seen before. All the Jolly readers have been graded in terms of their phonic difficulty. Unlike many phonic readers with heavily controlled vocabulary such as the cat sat on the mat, the Jolly readers have many more words with digraphs. In level 1, for example, there are words such as look, tree, splash, and paint. There are 3 levels available in 3 different genres. Level 1 is the red level, level 2 yellow, level 3 green, and level 4, which is coming soon, is blue. Here you can see how the different levels have been graded. They use words with the basic letter sounds in Jolly Phonics. You will notice that the alternative spellings are not introduced until level 3. Some of the words used in level 1 are dog, fish, silver, ground, strongest, sleeping, squirrel. Examples of tricky words in level 1 are I, the, was, have. Effects of using decodable and non-decodable readers on early learners. Decodable readers that use the letter sound knowledge that has been taught help the children to develop their skills and prevent the children becoming frustrated when they cannot work words out. Providing children with books that cannot read causes reading problems. There has to be a compromise. Challenging and stimulating stories can be provided in the classroom as long as they are read to the children. This improves the children's comprehension, vocabulary, and desire to read. However, at this stage, the children should not be expected to read challenging stories for themselves. The books we ask the children to read themselves have to be appropriate for their reading abilities. The weaker children need structure and simplicity for the decodable readers, even if this comes at the expense of the story. The children are thrilled to be able to read these books and are not put off by the limited language. By putting up with somewhat contrived stories at first, the children will soon be able to read far more interesting books. The results of a research study carried out in South Gloucestershire, discussed in Module 5, show that using decodable readers as part of our synthetic phonics teaching approach greatly improves the reading and writing abilities of the children. The skills needed for reading. There are only 2 skills needed for reading. The first is being able to decode the text on the page, and the second is being able to understand the meaning of the text, which is comprehension. Both skills are essential. How to improve a child's comprehension skills? Sometimes a child is excellent at decoding and is able to read a book easily, but has poor comprehension. When this happens, there is a simple solution. Give the child an easier book to read and discuss the story. This type of child finds reading or decoding easy and has been given books that are intellectually too hard. The vocabulary and subject matter are too advanced. Adult readers have this problem too. Most of us would be able to read a book on molecular physics, but few of us would understand it. Great care should be taken when choosing reading books for children. Reading books must be appropriate for the child's reading abilities, but must also be at a level that the child can comprehend. However, the reading problem in primary schools is usually the children's poor ability to decode words rather than their poor comprehension. An inability to read often causes frustration. The children have the ability to understand spoken words and have a desire to read, but they are unable to do so because they have not been taught how to decode written words. Typical lesson plans. Letter sounds S and P. Introducing the sound sheets. In the first lesson, the S sound is introduced using the first of the sound sheets or the first page of the pupil's books. The S sound lesson, like every other lesson, starts with a story. The suggested storyline for introducing the S sound is as follows. A boy takes his dog for a walk. He hears the dog barking and then sees a snake rear up hissing "Sss." The storylines for all the sounds are provided in the phonics handbook, whiteboard, and people and teachers books. Both the sounds and the actions are incorporated into each story. In this case, the snake makes a "s" sound and the action is the children waving their arms, imitating the movement of the snake and saying "s." The children are told that "s" is one of the later sounds. At this point, the finger phonics book can be used to give a colorful illustration of the storyline. The finger phonics books also provide an introduction to reading and writing skills. The children are then shown the letter S written on a flash card or on one of the Jolly Phonics cards. When they see the letter S, the children should be encouraged to say the sound S and do the action. The children can then look at the picture of the snake and the letter S on the Jolly Phonics wall phrase, if this phrase is available. In addition to the main teaching, the children's letter sound knowledge can be reinforced through the songs found in the Jolly songs and Jolly jingles.
The snake is in the grass, the snake is in the grass. The snake is in the grass.
Most children love singing, and these songs not only act as a reminder of the letter sounds, but can also help with the pronunciation of the sounds, which makes them particularly appropriate for non-English speaking children. Here is a typical lesson plan for letter sound P. Step number 1. Using flashcards. Revise the sounds previously taught. Example, S, A, T, and E. Step number 2. Story. Introduce the sound P by reading P story with expression and action. A list of stories is provided. Paul likes to visit the city zoo near his home. His favorite animal there is the polar bear. The polar bear has big paws for paddling in the pool, says the zookeeper. It is Paul's birthday soon, and his mother asks if he would like a teddy bear as his present. Paul thinks about this and says that he would prefer a polar bear. When his birthday arrives, Paul's friends Peng, Pavlo and Pet come to his party. They all play games and eat the party food, pineapple, pizza and popcorn. Paul's mother gives Paul his present. He unwraps the paper to find a perfect toy polar bear. Then Paul's mother produces a cake with purple icing. She has put trick candles on the cake. Every time Paul blows out a candle, it lights up again. He tries to puff out the candles, but they keep relighting. Everyone laughs and claps and tries to put off the candles. For this sound, the action is hold up your finger as if it is a candle and try to puff it out. Alternatively, you can use the storyline as in the phonics handbook or even create your own story to include members of the class or recent events at the school with lots of p sound. Step number 3. Action. While reading, hold up your finger as if it is a candle and try to puff it out saying p, p, p. The children also pretend their finger is a candle and try to puff out the trick candle saying p, p, p. Step number 4. Use the colorful illustration from the Finger Phonics big books for better understanding of the story. Alternatively, you can do a quick sketch on the board to show an illustration of the main event of the story. Step number 5. Flashcards. Show to children flashcards with letter P written on it. When children see the letter P, they should say the letter sound P, P instead of the letter name and do the action P, P. Step number 6. Jolly songs. Play the jolly songs and students will sing the song and do the action to remind them of the letter sounds.
Cake. Puff, 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 puff. Puff out the candles on the pink, pink cake. Puff, puff, puff.
In most cases, the song is more like a summary of the story which helps in better understanding and also helps with the pronunciation of the sounds, which makes them particularly appropriate for non-English speaking children. Step number 7. Letter formation. Use the photocopiable page from the Phonics Handbook, page 47 or Pupils Book 1, page 6 to teach the correct letter formation. Explain how the P is written, pointing out how the tail goes under the line. The children form the letter in the air. Then they trace the dotted letters on the sound sheet. Finally, they write the letters on their own. Note, if the Finger Phonics book is available, the children can also take turns to feel the formation of the letter by following the arrows in the grooved letters with their finger. Step number 8. Blending. The children blend the words on the sound sheets, for example, pit, pat, tap, tip. Say the sounds with the children, pointing to the dot underneath each sound. Then blend the sounds together and read the words. Note, if the teacher says the sounds clearly in a word, students should be able to hear that word, which will make blending very easy. With this example, children should be encouraged to identify and say all the sounds in a word so that they can hear the word and blend easily. Step number 9. Word bank. Use the word bank provided to give more blending practice with P sound. Note, do not just give children any word with P sound to blend. The word bank provides a list of decodable words because those words listed for blending only include the sounds taught in the previous lessons. Step number 10. Dictation. Call out the sound P and other sounds already covered for the children to write. Call out some words from the word bank for the P sound. The children listen to the words and hold up a finger for each sound. Dictate some words from the word bank for the p sound for students to write. This activity can happen slightly later with other sounds if your children are not yet ready. Step number 11. For greater clarity in the letter sounds and overall pronunciation, it is recommended that both the teachers and students frequently watch the video on the 42 letter sounds as provided in this package.
puff,
Sound and action. Pio, sound and action. Again. Again. Thank you. Let's go to the second one. Sound and action. Wait, slowly. Again. 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 Okay. Look at the ruler where I'm going to point to. What's the next one? Very good. Very good. Okay. Next one. Listen again. Again. Only once. Again. 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 Right. Hands down. Today, to blow the candle, how did you blow the candle? Yeah, how did you blow the candle? How did you blow the candle? Again. Soft, soft. Again. No, that's wrong. Again. 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 Very good. And how old is the boy? How many candles? 6. That boy is 6 years old. Okay, blow the candle again. Blow the candle again. Safer, blow the candle. No, again. 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 Thank you. That's our sound today. Sound, year one. Sound and action again.
Pace of teaching letter sounds, or the rate of introduction. For years 1 and 2, the first letter sound can be introduced on the children's first day. Their enthusiasm for learning is high and this provides a meaningful start for them. It is recommended that the letter sounds be introduced at the rate of 1 letter sound per day in a 20-minute lesson. Although this may seem a lot at first, most children are able to cope with it and look forward to their new letter sound every day. All the letter sounds are introduced at this rate. This means that they can be covered in approximately 9 weeks. As a result of this, children become competent readers much sooner and can use all the letter sounds to produce more expressive, independent writing at a much earlier than average stage. If the children are younger than 5, if they do not have a lesson every day, or if there are other special factors, then the rate of teaching the letter sounds is likely to be slower. The teacher will need to decide the appropriate pace for his or her own class. For years 3 and 4, since the children are already introduced to reading and writing and even know the alphabet names, a faster pace can be used, such as 2, 3 or even 4 letter sounds per day depending on the difficulty of the sounds and the caliber of the children. Similarly, for remedial classes in years 5, 6, 7 and 8, 3 to 4 sounds could be taught daily. In senior classes or for adult students in secondary schools, teachers need not concentrate on Jolly stories. However, the 42 letter sounds provide speech training. Jolly songs help in correct pronunciation and the word bank, ideal for blending, are the most important resources. First year timetable. Here is the suggested timetable schedule for the first year of learning to read and write. In the first part of the year, about 9 weeks, it is important to make sure the children learn how to blend simple regular words, including those with digraphs and not just consonant-vowel consonant words. Every day, there should be some practice of blending regular words, including words with the digraphs that have already been taught. In the first part of the year, that is term 1, you are to teach 42 sounds. Teach how to form letters correctly. Teach how to blend simple regular words. Teach how to write words by listening for sounds. And teach how to read and spell few tricky words. In the second part of the year, introduce letter names. Teach alternative spellings. Teach handwriting rules and give writing practice. Introduce jolly readers and give blending practice with alternative spellings. Give dictation activities for words and sentences. Introduce children to reading and spelling of more tricky words. In the last part of the year, revise alternative spellings. Give handwriting practice. Continue with jolly readers and blending practice. Give children independent writing and continue with dictation practice. Children should also have learnt the first 60 tricky words. Reading assessment. You can observe how the children are progressing with an end of year checklist such as this or this. Here is a sample section of the kind of record you can keep. You can start by seeing if the children know all the 42 sounds including the digraphs. You can also check their knowledge of the alternative spellings of the sound as well as the tricky words. First year checklist. Knows sounds. Blends regular words with these sounds. Writes the regular words with these sounds. Alphabet, lowercase letters. Knows sounds. Knows name. Forms correctly. Alphabet, capital letters. Knows sounds. Knows name, forms correctly. Alphabet order. Can sing the alphabet, can recite the alphabet, knows the alphabets. Able to read tricky words 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, 51 to 60. Able to spell tricky words 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, 51 to 60. All this, however, is just a guide to what should be known. It is not strictly necessary to keep checklists if that is not how you prefer to work. It is really a check for yourself to see what needs teaching, and it is particularly useful for children who are finding it difficult to read and write. Reading ability can also be observed with age-appropriate books. Do they read slowly, steadily, or fluently, for example? Likewise, you can see if they are able to write news or short stories independently. Remedial. Support for struggling children. A typical lesson for struggling children in stage 1. Step number 1. Flashcards of letter sounds. Step number 2. Teach a new letter sound or revise one that needs more attention. The children say the sound, do the action, learn the formation, and write the letters from dictation. Whilst the children are writing from dictation, watch out for incorrect formation and pencil hold. Step number 3. Dictate 5 more letter sounds. Step number 4. Play I say it, you say it with 5 simple CVC words. Step number 5. Lay down each word for the children to read. The children should race to be the first to read the word, blending if necessary. Step number 6. Call out some CVC words for the children to say the sounds and hold up a finger for each one. Step number 7. Dictate a couple of words. Step number 8. Provide a few words and pictures for the children to pair up. While the children are occupied with this, listen to each child individually reading through their box of letter sounds. If appropriate, add new letter sounds to the box. Give a small amount of homework. Provide a short list of words for blending practice, only for those children who can blend, or a few dictation words only for those children who can write from dictation. The aim is to develop fluency. Activities for identifying the sounds in words, individual work, counting sounds. This is the fastest and most effective way of teaching the children how to identify the sounds in words. The teacher calls out a simple 3-letter word and then, together with the children, say the sounds one after the other, holding up a finger for each sound. For instance, the teacher calls out sun and the children respond s, a, n, s, a, n, holding up 3 fingers. Initially, the teacher should say the individual sounds with the children, but gradually the children learn to say the sounds without the teacher's help. Ensure that each child masters the skill. The children should have a counting sound session almost every day. For a slight variation of this activity, the children should be asked to give a tap on the table for each sound instead of holding up a finger. Some children will find it easier to hear all the sounds if the word is spoken extra slowly. Word jigsaws. Provide a number of printed words and encourage the children to cut up each word into its individual sounds. For example, bet would be cut into b, a, t, and spill would become s, p, I, l. Later on, when more letter sounds are known, words with digraphs could be cut up. Good examples of words for this activity include strain, s, t, r, a, n, sleepers, s, l, I, p, s, and shadow, sh, d, o. Always take care that the children know the letter sounds reasonably well before you use them. Once the words have been cut up, muddle up the letters and ask the children to put the words back together again by listening for the sounds in each word. What is dyslexia? There are many theories about dyslexia, but not one stands up to scientific testing. Many people argue that dyslexia is a disorder of the brain, but in reality, dyslexia is simply a difficulty learning to read and write. Dyslexia literally translates from the Greek as bad or poor with words. Giving a special name to reading and writing difficulties reflects the severity of these problems. In education, there is nothing worse than not being able to read. Despite this, the term dyslexia can cause problems in the classrooms if some children are diagnosed as dyslexic and others are just considered to be poor at reading. These problems are exacerbated when the children labeled dyslexic receive more attention than those labeled poor at reading. According to the most eminent researchers, there is no reliable test that can distinguish between a dyslexic child and a child who is merely struggling. All children who have reading and writing difficulties tend to have the same problems and require the same extra support whether they have been labeled dyslexic or not. Essentially, all reading and writing difficulties stem from a poor memory and insufficient phonemic awareness. When children are taught with rigorous synthetic phonics and decodable readers, they go on to succeed. Any teaching method that focuses on whole words or uses mixed methods can cause reading problems or heighten existing ones. An interesting website, www.dyslexics.org.uk, provides more details about dyslexia and gives advice on how to help dyslexic children. Does synthetic phonics help children with speech and language problems? The speech therapists are particularly supportive of the Jolly Phonics program. They recognize that all the early letter sound teaching makes a big difference to the children with speech problems. In UK, According to the speech therapist, if a young child was referred to them before starting school, they would ask which school the child was going to attend. If the child had a place at a school using Jolly Phonics program, the speech therapist would wait until the child had been at school for 6 months before seeing him or her again. They know that most speech problems could and would be sorted out by the Jolly Phonics teaching method within those first 6 months. As a result, most children learn how to pronounce the letter sounds with Jolly Phonics and did not need specialist help. Only the children who still struggled to pronounce some of the letter sounds required the expertise of the speech therapist. Frequently, the children seeing the speech therapist were quite able to read and write because they had the ability to hear the sounds even if they could not say them. Occasionally, the speech therapist would find that a child could read a word clearly, but when they came to say the same word in normal conversation, it came out all wrong. Usually, children like this soon overcame their speech and language problems. Severe language problems, those not linked to pronunciation, usually needed extra attention from the speech therapist. Although the fact that these children could read and write helped them a great deal with their speech and language therapy. Teaching resources or the Jolly Phonics products. The most important Jolly Phonics product is the Phonics Handbook. The Phonics Handbook is the core teaching tool for Jolly Phonics. It contains everything teachers need to know about how the program works and how to teach it. The opening pages describe in detail the teaching of the 5 skills. The book then introduces the letter sounds using sound sheets. These are worksheets that help the children to put the teaching into practice, write the letters for each sound and improve pencil control by filling in the picture neatly. Many parents like to make a file or book with the worksheets and regularly go over the sounds with the child. The Phonics Handbook is also filled with many photocopiable games and activities such as pairs, card games and listening games, all designed to help children learn not only the letter sounds fluently but also to learn the other 4 skills at the same time. The Jolly Phonics Teacher's Book and Pupil's Book also provide very similar notes and activities. However, the Phonics Handbook is more cost-effective. The Grammar Handbooks. Similar format to the Phonics Handbook. Spelling and grammar lessons, actions for grammar points. Jolly Grammar is the next stage for the 2nd and 3rd years following Jolly Phonics. This program is designed to teach the key rules of grammar, spelling and punctuation. It helps children express themselves better, bring variety to their writing and improve their spelling in a structured way. Each year has a grammar handbook introducing grammar, spelling and punctuation over a 36-week period. Throughout the duration of the Jolly Grammar program, the Jolly Dictionary is used to complement the teaching. Teaching children how to use a dictionary will improve reading and writing and help them become independent learners. The grammar handbooks have a similar format to the Phonics Handbook, including actions for each area of grammar and some revision of Jolly Phonics. The Grammar Handbook too also develops dictionary and thesaurus skills and improves vocabulary and comprehension. Spelling lessons cover such teaching points such as magic E, alternative spellings, longer words and dictionary skills. Typical grammar lessons include verbs, adjectives, tenses, superlatives, etc. The Jolly Grammar Big Books. The Jolly Grammar Big Books complement the teaching in the grammar handbooks and are an ideal way of presenting new concepts to the children. Jolly Grammar uses tinted words, the same used by Montessori schools to help children identify parts of speech in sentences. For example, verbs are red and nouns are black. Both the grammar handbooks and the Jolly Grammar Big Books have dictionary lessons to be used together with the Jolly Dictionary. So there you have your 3 years of literacy teaching. Precursive or print letters. Precursive letters have exact strokes to encourage cursive writing. Print letters are standard letters without exact strokes. It entirely depends upon your school policy which letters you would want your children to write, whether precursive or print. Training materials provided. The following is a checklist for the training materials provided. You need not print everything. However, it is advisable to go through everything for your professional development. Print only those selected materials you'll need in your teaching. To conclude, in teaching literacy using the Jolly Phonics program, teachers must ensure that they incorporate the 5 basic skills in their daily lessons, which are: teach the letter sounds, correct a neat letter formation, give lots of blending practice, give activities to identify sounds in words, teach tricky words as discussed earlier. However, it is important that teachers do not cause their children problems by failing to develop their blending skills sufficiently well or by giving them the wrong types of books. Once the children read fluently and work out unknown words with confidence, they are ready to read anything that is appropriate for their intellectual age. If a child is able to understand a text when it is read out to them, they will be able to understand it when they read it themselves. It is at this stage that the children start reading to learn instead of learning to read. Children also begin to read for pleasure at this point, and in doing so, further develop their reading abilities. And so, there we have our 3 years of literacy teaching for young children. Major studies on Jolly Phonics and the feedback from teachers and parents all point to the same conclusion, that Jolly Phonics not only works but achieves results previously unseen.